okay? Okay, I see loud and clear. All right, so I'm going to take it as everybody can hear me. All right, so let's get started. As I said, this whole webinar is about how to pass QM every time. We're also going to talk about how to price a loan, how to lock a loan, and then my colleague Adam here is going to go over some QM tips with you on how to pass QM with some unique little insider information. So there's our beautiful mugs. I'm Joe Paul. I'm the digital marketing specialist here at RAC. My colleague sitting next to me is Adam Long. He is our national wholesale account executive at RAC. If you want to say hi real quick.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
So for every webinar, I introduce us. Who is RAC? We're a wholesale correspondent lender licensed in 16 states across the country. We consider ourselves a group of lending specialists dedicated to helping you close difficult loans on time. Some of the key benefits to working with us include 24-hour underwriting, no overlays, which means we manually underwrite to the guidelines, FHA down to 500, VA down to 500 without verification of rent, which means we accept rent-free letters in lieu of VOR. Same applies to USDA down to 580. And also here you have direct access to our underwriters and closers, and you get full collaboration from our account executives as well. The email address at the bottom of this slide, prequels@racmtg.com. If you have a loan that you're unsure of, you can always send us a prequel. We'll look at it the same day, sometimes maybe the next morning, and let you know if it's approved and, move it on throughout the process. All right, so we're going to get this thing started on how to price a loan. So I'm going to pull up the RAC rate sheet here. Adam's going to dive in a little deeper and show you guys exactly what everything means, how to price the loan out, the adjusters, meaning the credit score and loan amount, how that affects the rates, the difference between borrower paid and lender paid, and we're going to give you a specific scenario. So it's going to be a pricing walkthrough where we're going to lay out a few things, the loan amount, the score, and we're going to show you exactly how to price it, and then we'll move on how to lock a loan. Okay, so here's our rate sheet, and I'm going to let Adam take over and kind of explain this to you.
Okay, hey everybody. So I figured since the majority of our business we get from you guys is probably FHA and some VA, we'll just do an FHA scenario today. So the scenario I have for you guys is going to be a loan amount for easy math purposes. It's going to be $100,000. We're going to do a borrower pay transaction. Keep in mind, when you look at our rate sheets, we produce technically like a borrower paid rate sheet. Your specific lender paid compensation plans are not built into our pricing. Okay, so you almost have, we'll get to lender paid in a little bit, but I'll cover that later. I just want to let you know what we're looking at. So our first scenario is going to be borrower paid, okay? So that meaning borrower paid, meaning you're charging the borrower an origination fee. So you would end up disclosing on your loan estimate an origination fee of whatever, 2.75, 2.5. The beautiful thing about borrower paid transactions is you can be flexible on your fee. You don't have to charge exactly what your lender paid compensation plan is with us or any particular lender. So you could say, well, I want to take it easy on this borrower. It's a friend of mine. I'm going to charge him 2%. No problem. I don't care. So anyway, let's get this thing started. So we are doing a $100,000 loan amount, and I'm going to get it. I have a 625 mid score. I'm working with that, and I'm going to be doing a 25-day lock. Okay, those are my three main scenarios. So basically, if I want to get a par rate, okay, first thing I want to do is, what's my adjuster for a 625 credit score? So I'm going to scroll over to the right. Joe's going to go over there, and I'm going to look at my credit score tiers, okay? So 620 to 639, right there. you'll see that's a 75 basis point adjuster because I have a 625. I'm right in the middle there, right? So then I'm going to go back over and look at my pricing. Go back one over. And I know that basically my only credit score hit here is going to be for my only adjuster is going to be for my credit score. And I want to give my borrower a par rate, closest to par as possible. So I need to look at my interest rates in the 25-day column, look at the pricing, and see what covers my 75 basis point adjuster. We'll look at 4.125 right there. Okay, its base price is paying 0.791. Well, 0.791 minus 0.75 gets me real close to par. It actually gives you a very, very small lender credit of 0.041. So if you wanted to get on a borrower-paid transaction and you wanted to give your borrower a par rate, I would definitely go with the 4.125%. Now, you may say, well, hey, I need to try to get a little bit of extra, additional credit to help my borrower out. They don't have a lot of funds to close. Let me see if I can get them some additional credit from the interest rate to help out their bottom line, right? So maybe you could go up to, let's look at 4.625. So the base rate is paying 2.669. Okay. Once again, our only adjuster is minus 0.75. So basically that gives you 1.919 left over in a lender credit. So it obviously translates on a $100,000 loan. It translates to $1,919 that you can give your borrower to help absorb some of their settlement charges. So that's basically, that's borrower paid in a nutshell. Now I want to give you guys one little added tidbit. So, I get this quite a bit, or the Lock Desk does this. What is an HPML adjuster for? It's a quarter hit. It means it stands for higher priced mortgage loan. What is a higher priced mortgage loan? Okay, so say you have a credit score less than a 660, okay, and the average prime offering rate plus 1.5%, okay, figure that out. You know, you can see what the weekly APOR is on like the MBS quote line website. If your APR exceeds the APOR plus 1.5 and your credit score is below a 660, that is a higher price mortgage loan, meaning it's a riskier loan, and therefore we do assess an extra quarter adjuster. So it just depends on what interest rate you pick. And when you start getting up into 4.625, 4.75, 4.875, you may become a higher price mortgage loan, especially with a credit score of a 625. So just putting that out there. A lot of people ask me that. What's an HPML? What does it stand for? It is on our rate sheet in the adjuster, so you can go over there and look at it to the right. It's right here. FICO, less than 660, and it's a higher price mortgage loan, you got to take a hit of a quarter. So I won't spend too much more time on that. So let's move on to the same scenario, everybody. We're going to do a lender paid scenario. All right? Here is the criteria. Everything's the same. $100,000 loan amount, 625 mid score, 25-day lock. The only difference we're going to throw in now is lender paid compensation, and our lender paid compensation is 2.75%. So, like I said earlier, your specific lender paid compensation plans are not built into our pricing. Unfortunately, we do not create individual rate sheets for all our different brokers with their specific lender paid comp. So, what I tell everybody is like treat your lender paid compensation like a price adjuster. So, I'm going to look at, I'm in the 25-day lock column. I'm going to look at 4.875. Okay, so my base price is 3.073. 3.073. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to back out 2.75% right off the bat, minus 2.75, because that's your compensation. You got to cover that with credit. All right, I still have .323 left over for credit, right? Well, now I have to apply my 75 basis point adjuster because of my credit score, right? So I deduct 75 more basis points, and I may be a higher price mortgage loan now that I'm in a higher interest rate coupon. So minus 0.25. So now I actually have a cost, a loan discount, that I have to charge my borrower of 0.677%, okay? It's not a whole bunch, but there is a cost. So in order for us, the lender, to pay you, the broker, your 2.75 compensation, we have to, in turn, charge the borrower 0.677, okay, which would be $677 on a $100,000 loan. So that's how you work lender paid. Obviously, it's going to be different with different credit scores, different compensation levels, but 2.75 is one of the most popular ones out there for a compensation. But anyway, so that's pretty much it on how to price a loan. You know, just be very mindful of VA loans. You'll see there's a quarter adjuster just for the loan type on VA loans up there. Please keep in mind loan amounts. Anything under $100,000, you're going to take a bump for it. So, you know, anything over 100, you're safe, obviously. So just kind of look at your credit score, number one, loan amount, number two, and are you a higher price mortgage loan? For all you that don't know, that we offer a W-2 only program on conventional loans and FHA. There is a W-2 adjuster. That means you do not have to send in transcripts. I don't want to get off on a tangent on underwriting guidelines, but that's a pretty cool program. But there is an adjuster for it if you ever do utilize it. And manufactured homes, too. There's a pretty big bump for a manufactured home on the FHA and VA side. All right. So let's say, what's the next part we're going to cover here? That's locking a loan for the, you know, most part. I don't want to take up a lot of time and bore you guys, but that's...
So that's going to be our first stage. This is how to price a loan. We'll move on to the next one, which is how to lock a loan. So we're going to walk you step by step through the process of how to lock it. How to lock it online, and then once you lock it, we'll teach you. We'll show you the email address that you could do for relocks and extensions. So let's start off by going to the website. This is racmc.com.
I got Anthony.
Broker support.
Anthony, how can I add in the admin fee? Oh, you mean buy out the admin fee in the pricing? Okay. If you look at the bottom of our rate sheets, okay, very bottom. There we go. Buy out fees for all loan programs. It's another price adjuster that you would have to assess. Go to the far right. You know, your bigger loans, obviously, the cheaper it gets. Let me give you a little tidbit of information, everyone out there. Instead of wasting money or credit on buying out an admin fee, or underwriting fee, I should say, or $895 underwriting fee, if you do have any seller credit, okay, we will allocate a specific dollar amount of your seller credits right to our underwriting fee, meaning the seller is paying that fee, which will omit it from QM, okay, and therefore still keep you safe. So I understand why you want to buy it out in the pricing. You're thinking, hey, I want to pass QM, let me get rid of that underwriting fee. Well, you know, we will allow you to use a portion of your seller concessions and allocate it directly to the underwriting fee in order to omit that particular fee from the QM total points and fees calculation. So I'm not saying every deal has seller concessions, but if you have them, you might want to look into that before you waste money or credit, if you will, buying it out in the pricing. So I hope that answers your question. What were we talking about now?
Okay, so how to lock a loan.
Okay.
And if you want to just hold your questions about QM and stuff till the end, we're going to give you some insider tips, and then we're going to have a live Q&A at the end of this as well. For the last 5-10 minutes, you can ask our expert Adam anything you want.
Yeah, so step one we already did. Like, you'll see that we, unfortunately, not yet, we don't have a live pricing engine. I'm like your live pricing engine. If you go to our website, people think, hey, I'm just going to plug in my criteria, get my price, and there you go. It doesn't work that way. Basically, you have to look at our rate sheets like we just did and figure out what rate we're after. And then once you know what you're after, then you can go lock it online. You know, I need 4.5% at 25-day lock, etc. So just putting that out there. So let's go.
So on this slide, you'll be able to click this link here, and it'll open to our broker support page. I'm sure some of you are familiar, or most of you are familiar with this page. Just below the Submit a Loan banner, you're going to enter your web lender username and password. You're going to click Login. That's going to open up another window. This is going to be the web lender homepage. If some of you attended our earlier webinar about how to submit a loan, you're definitely familiar with this process. How to lock, we're going to go to Submissions right here, this tab. We're going to click Lock Request. We're just going to pick, you pick whatever loan number that you have, whatever loan you have in the system at the moment, and you're going to click on that loan number, and it's going to bring you to this screen where you're going to fill, where most of it's going to populate your loan information because you already entered it. You're just going to have to enter the mid-credit score here. So just for example, we were talking about 625, so we're just putting 625 there. That's it for that. We'll hit Continue. And
can you back up by chance or not?
Yeah.
Final rate, you see on the right-hand side there where it says final rate. The rate that you guys upload with your Fannie Mae 3.2 file will be there. Now, for some reason, if you maybe lowball the rate when you first submitted it to us, and you need to make a change on that rate, maybe increase it, or you could lower it, whatever, you would go up there and you can manually change that final rate right there. So it comes through the lock screen when the secondary market goes to lock at your rate. So just keep that in mind. If you lowballed it at 4% and you really need 4.5 to make the deal work, then you want to change it right there. So anyway, moving on.
Yeah, no, so change it there, and then we'll hit Continue. That'll take you to the program information. You'll select whatever program.
USDA, yeah. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, so you'll select your loan program here. So Adam's going to talk a little bit about terms here.
Well, everything looks pretty good there. Most of our loans are all 30-year fixed. I mean, we do 20, 25, 15, and 10, but most of them are amortized for 360 months. Over there where it says lock term, every once in a while people get confused. They'll put in 360 there. That means the number of days in which you want to lock, either 10, 25, 40, or 55. Those are our lock increments. They're a little different than most lenders. I know most lenders have 15, 30, 45, and 60, but we're a little,
On the presentation slide, we tell you exactly what our lock days are, so you can choose whichever one you need.
You would put 25 in there. Hey, I want a 25-day lock. Okay, boom. Continue. And it just says right there, it says your request has been submitted via web lender. So that means it went through. The lock desk has now received your request, and they will go on and lock your loan and send the lock confirmation to whoever the processor or the loan officer is on that file.
And then once we hit return, it'll bring you back to the home page, the web lender home page, and then you can make adjustments on whatever you need to once you're back in there. Okay. So that, like I said, on this slide, it'll be a walkthrough of what we just did there, but also you'll be getting a live recording of the webinar, so you'll be able to see it firsthand. There's our lock terms right there, 10, 20, 25, 40, or 55 days. And that is how you lock a loan here. Okay, now let's talk about extending and relocking. So our main email address is lockdesk@racmtg.com for any extensions or relocks of locking the loan. You'll have these slides, so you'll be able to click this link to email us any locking requirements. You can request a lock extension or relock. We just need the borrower's first and last name, and make sure it's the first and last name. It's kind of hard in our system if a few of the borrowers that came through have the same last name, we're going to have a hard time.
Like the Smith loan.
Yeah. So if you guys could provide us with the first and last name of the borrower so we can do it quickly for you, or just the loan number will work for us.
Loan numbers work. And
Yep.
just say, hey, dear Lock Desk, I'd like to extend this rate for 10 days. Thanks. That's pretty much it. Or even sometimes some people want to change their interest rate. Now, obviously, if you change the interest rate, it's going to be based off the price from the day that you locked. So maybe your borrower, you pulled a new credit report and they got better credit now, and you'll have to upload the credit report to the image center like you would any condition. We validate it. Hey, now instead of taking like a 3 1/4 hit for that low credit score, now maybe it's only 75 basis points, and you can now afford to give your borrower a better interest rate. So that would be something else you would email the Lock Desk about.
Absolutely. And once it's submitted, our Lock Desk will be alerted, and we'll know that your lock request was in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so how to pass QM. I'm going to let Adam take over for this.
All right. Yeah, this is kind of, these things will vary, how to pass QM based on what you're working with each individual loan. First and foremost, what fees are included in the QM total and the total points and fees calculation. If it's a lender-paid deal, number one, your lender-paid compensation is included. So if it's 2.75, we know that's already in there, okay? Obviously, on borrower-paid, origination fee is included. Loan discounts are included. Underwriting fees included. In-house processing fee would be included. We don't get a lot of in-house processing fees, mind you. You'll see there, third-party, bona fide third-party processing fees are not included in the QM, total points and fees calculation, so you don't have to worry about that. The way I can do this manually most of the time, how to determine if you pass QM, total points and fees, the threshold. Basically $100,000 or higher, it's 3% of the amount financed, not the total loan amount, but the amount financed. The amount financed will be a lesser of a loan amount because it's basically the prepaid finance charges are backed out. So even though we don't use the till anymore, you can go to your till in your loan software and look at the amount financed and take that figure times 3%, and that's your threshold. You'll know this is the number I cannot exceed. Hang on, I'm going to hold everybody up. I got a question from Anthony. Do I have to disclose borrower-paid compensation? Yes, borrower-paid compensation must be disclosed in the form of an origination fee. If you're charging your borrower as a borrower-paid, that's basically you sitting down with the borrower and saying, Mr. Borrower, I am charging you 2% or 2.5%. That's an agreement between you and the borrower. So yes, you do have to disclose on borrower-paid transactions. So anyway, lender-paid, obviously, you do not disclose your compensation anywhere on the loan estimate. Moving on, let's see here. Okay, so loan amount, I just told you how to figure out, you can try to figure out what your own threshold is, okay, on $100,000 loans and higher. Loan amounts between $60,000 and $100,000, the threshold is just a flat $3,000. So basically figure out what your fees are, $895, things of that nature. Do they exceed $3,000 or not? If I'm over $3,000, then chances are I'm failing QM. And there are ways to remedy that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And very seldom we do get loans that are down between $25,000 and $60,000. Well, on that, if you ever do have one in that low, 5% of the amount financed is the threshold. So, just take like I said, I use my till still. I'll go back old school and look at the till and look at the amount financed times 5%. And look at what what I'm charging the borrower, underwriting fee, things of that nature, and see if I am exceeding my threshold or not. So that's kind of like just to see. Maybe a lot of people don't know when we get these things in closing that they're failing, and they just send them in here, and then I have to explain to them why they're failing. So anyway, we'll move on. All right. So here's what I was talking about earlier. Using tips on getting your file to pass QM. We're kind of a liberal lender here, and we like to work with our brokers as best we can to make the deals work. So we will, like I said, we will permit the usage of seller concessions to basically pay for the following: our underwriting fee of $8.95 or loan discounts. So let's just say you have a loan discount of, I don't know, $1,000, okay, and you have our $895 underwriting fee, okay, plus your compensation is $2.75. Well, when you add all that together, chances are you're going to exceed your threshold of 3%. Okay, I'm talking about a loan amount of $100 or more here, or $100,000 or more. So you're going to say, man, how am I going to get by this? Well, hey, just for a minute, say you have $5,000 in seller concessions, right? So what we'll do is we will specifically allocate $1,000 of your seller concessions to that discount point, basically moving that over to the seller paid column on the CD. We will take $895 from that $5,000 and directly allocate it to the underwriting fee, which will also move it over to the seller pay column on the CD, okay? So what is that? That's $1,895 we just burned up of your $5,000 in seller concessions. So the difference of that $5,000 will show up on page 3 of the CD as a seller credit. So we're using all $5,000, but we're specifically allocating a portion of the seller concession to those two fees so that everyone knows, including the CFPB, that the seller paid for those two fees, not the borrower, and because of that, you can omit it from QM total points of fees calculation test, and now you pass, because the only thing that's left over being calculated is your compensation, and it's under 3%, so you pass. So I understand that we don't always get seller concessions on every deal, right? So let's just say you have a problem again. It's like, man, Adam, I can't close this deal. I'm failing. What am I going to do? I'm 2.75 on the lender pay comp. I'm failing. I don't have any seller credits. What do I do? Well, we can permit you to flip over to a borrower pay transaction, okay? And you're saying, well, how does that help me? Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't really help your borrower's bottom line too much. What it does is now you're going to charge an origination fee of 2.75%, right? So now that 2.75 is not built into our pricing anymore. So you may have had a large discount because of your compensation being built into the pricing, but now it's not. So now maybe your discount's totally gone and you have a small credit, or maybe the discount's just a heck of a lot less, okay? And anyway, so that's what we can do in that case. And sometimes, I hate to say it, I know you guys work really hard on your deals and you don't like to give up any money, but sometimes as a borrower paid, you may have to back off your origination fee to make it work. I know that sucks, but at least on the borrower paid side, there is that flexibility where I cannot shave you on your lender paid. If you're 2.75 on lender paid, you're locked in at that. I can't just shave down your compensation just to get you to pass QM. That's a violation. So at least we will give you the opportunity to flip one to borrower paid, and we've done it. And sometimes the broker has to give up a little bit of money to make it happen, but you know, it's better than not making any money, I guess. So I'm going to answer some more questions here from Alejandro. If you exceed the limit, how can it be corrected? Okay, well, we just kind of covered that, you know, with the seller concession option, if you do have them, or, you know, basically backing off some fees, which we don't want to do. Okay. After that, yeah, I'm sorry. I'll finish up here, and, you know, I won't stand here and talk too much about it, but, you know, we'll exhaust all efforts, you know, before we have a major problem.
All right, so now I'm going to open up the floor to you guys. This is going to be the live Q&A session. Just so you know, you will get a recording of this webinar to review, as well as this presentation, these slides. Our contact information is on this last page here. I'm Joe Paul, I'm a digital marketing specialist. If you have any marketing questions, or if you need me to get in touch with Adam, you can always reach out to me directly on my email address, as well as my phone number. That's my extension. Or you could just reach out to Adam directly. His number is right there with his extension as well as his email address. We're going to answer some questions now. If you do have additional questions or didn't get a chance to ask one, please feel free to ask, later today, tomorrow, whenever you need to. You have our contact information there. So like I said, I'm going to open up the floor to you guys. If you have any questions for Adam about QM, about pricing a loan, about locking a loan, now is the time to ask it. We'll give you, we'll keep the floor open for about 5 minutes.
All right. Thanks for the insight. Oh,
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I hope you guys, some of that made sense. I mean, it makes sense to me because I do it all the time, and I try not to talk too fast and explain it. But I'm on your side. I write retail loans as well, so I know exactly what you guys go through, and I can be on your level.
All right, well, I don't see anybody typing any questions in. So if that's the case, like I said, you have our contact information on the slides, which you will be receiving either later today or tomorrow morning. Feel free to contact us directly, ask us any questions you want, and we will get back to you, as soon as we can.
Yes, and I'll always be involved in your closings because the closers have to run CDs by me anyway. So I'm always helping the closers rework their CDs to get you guys through QM, and yeah, so I'm always helping you directly or indirectly.
Oh, we do have one
question. Question.
Can you modify the figures after submitting the loan so it can comply with QM?
Oh, absolutely. Yep, we do it. I mean, yes, we have to do that quite a bit. Like I said, we're pretty liberal around here, and we are willing to work with you guys just to, so we can get these loans closed.
All right, so if that's the last question, like I said, you guys can reach out to us directly, and you will be receiving the recording and the slides as well. Thank you guys so much for attending this webinar. We really hope you were able to, get some good insider information about passing QM and how to price a loan. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yes, thank you.